Kaagaz Ki Kashti, the name itself, it spells magic, the childhood memories and the kind of idyllic village or small town lives. It symbolizes nostalgia, it symbolizes romance, it symbolizes the ephemeralness of life, the the twists and turns that the streams takes and on which your boat sails, the boat that you have made with such delight. And some of them sail, some of them don't sail, some of them get soggy, they drop off. It comes alive in Sudarshan Fakir's composition, and when Jagjit Singh sings it, he just gives it a new dimension altogether. And this is one of the things that drove me to make this film on Jagjit Singh. My intention was very simple. My intention was to catch and explore as much as I can Jagjit Singh, the singer, Jagjit Singh, the man, and the way life panned out for him, the way life treated him, and the way he faced life. So that was a very, very elementary approach to the film. And I think what comes out is a man of tremendous integrity, a man of great perseverance, a man of great talent. I mean, here is a man who comes from a different background, a Sikh background, comes to a new city at the age of 25, 24, struggles, becomes a hit party singer, film party singer within a few years, but doesn't get any work. But is popular, so he sings. At the least given opportunity, he sings. So he knows that he's being fooled, he's being welcomed, it's a mixture of things. But he's not bothered. He's going on doing that one thing that he loves doing, sing. Okay? And there comes a point of time, it takes him 10 years to cut his first album. 11 years. And if anybody who undervalues hard work today should take a look at geniuses and maestros like these, that they were geniuses, they were masters, but it wasn't a cakewalk for them either. It would have been much better if he would have been alive and I would have managed to dig deep into his personality as such one-on-one. I think all the more reason for us to immortalize this person even more through a film on him, in able to understand who he was, the compositions that he created, what was the magic, why did it sound so good, why did it sweep the entire nation, why did it create the kind of niche that it did, and so on. There are similarities because there were two giant personalities in music field in the same country around the same time almost, but they were very different because he was the king of Hindi film music, which had its own highs and lows, and here was a person who was trying to redefine a genre which was kind of dying out. And so just like R.D. Burman innovated and created all kinds of things to revive music and re-see it in a certain way, Jagjit Singh did in this particular genre. So there are similarities along those lines, but there are differences stylistically in storytelling, and also in the fact that you see much more of Jagjit Singh in this film through a lot of interesting footage, archival footage, and in the Pancham film you don't see much of Pancham other than photographs. After I had made that R.D. Burman film some 8 years back, I had thought that I won't make another film of this kind, maybe. That was the time that I realized that I actually wanted to make the Jagjit Singh film even much earlier than R.D. Burman, but somehow R.D. Burman film happened and this remained a thought. And that was the time that when I started debating whether to do or not to do, he passed away. That was a big dampener in terms of going ahead with this film. And I think a year or two after his death, the whole thing again came back again with a new rush. And I felt that I think all said and done, it makes sense to do a film on him. At the time that he came on the Ghazal scenario here, Ghazal was probably heard in groups of 5, 20, 50, 200 at the max. And it was also heard by connoisseurs of music. People who sang Ghazals generally chose very, very celebrated Urdu poets and so on. And very few people would understand the lyrics, the meanings and so on. And he was a man who came and who simplified it, who took up very, very simple but very evocative poetry, and who brought in a soulful, orchestral element about it. He brought in fusion instruments, made it very appealing, and to top everything, he had a voice that was absolutely mellifluous and it reached straight to your heart. And I think those were the qualities that broke the myths of Ghazals, that Ghazal has to be high-flying, that Ghazal has to be very classic poetry, that Ghazal has to have only a tabla and a harmonium and a violin and a sarangi to it. So it broke those myths. Biographical films of this kind is anyway hugely inspirational. I mean, when you make a film like this, there are so many aspects of that person that you discover. Many that you have known, many that you will never know, and many that you know in a different way. And I think that that is dependent on who you are inside. And that is the area in which you relate with that particular person, that particular aspect of his personality, his story, the defining points in his life. It has changed me a lot in terms of understanding life's vagaries, not question a lot of things about tragic things, question a lot of things about fame, adulation, ego, groundedness, and I mean the things that really, really mesmerize you is that here was a person who achieved the greatest of heights possible in his time, and yet remained so down to earth. For me, when I interviewed, what's fascinating is to explore that person's mind vis-a-vis his connects, his understanding, his insights, his philosophy of music and Jagjit Singh and his own journey with Jagjit Singh, so to say. When you build a narrative out of that, I think these are the hooks on which you can carry the narrative forward. There are some very interesting, insightful understandings, anecdotes, which become very defining points of the film. On weaving a story out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of material was an amazing experience in itself. You also grow there as a storyteller, in the sense that you know what works, you know what doesn't work, you know how many new versions you have to do to reach to a point where you feel happy about the film. Though it's gone on for a very long time, it's gone on for 3 years, but yes, the way it has come out, I'm very, very happy with the final thing, because of these same things. It tells you a story, it tells you in a gripping way, it tells you in a touching way, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, and now finally the film is kind of ready to fly. So the Kashti is ready to fly. When we started making it 3 years back, we didn't have any such notion as such, but because it took much longer than we thought it would take, we have landed with the readiness of the film in the 75th year, which is a wonderful thing, wonderful coincidence. And it's a huge year because it gives us an opportunity to celebrate his life. In the field of storytelling, I feel that we have too many stories in the biographical mold which needs to be told. I also feel that these films can become a very inspirational landmark movement, so to say, to become a more archiving country. We are poor archivers as such. So it's important to be able to document and archive countless such people's lives. So that is the vision of the biopics as such, and the vision for Jagjit Singh is to reach it out to as many people as possible, to inspire as many people as possible. So it's been hard work for all of us, and I think it's a good time to see the results and see how people respond to it.